We just found something late, pushed through. Drew had some great plays down in the fourth to, give us that rhythm on both sides of the floor to get it going. He was getting some steals, deflections. He changed the pace of the game. So shout out to Drew for that one.
It's one of those games where you know going in that they're not going to have some key guys. How is that when you play? You guys have been on that side where you have been missing guys, and you've played teams that have been missing guys. What's that like when you enter a game like this?
You just got to keep trying to play your game. You can't let it mess up the flow of the game, junk up the game at all. You just got to have that same mentality as, if they're starting playing.
Getting Bam back tonight, obviously, especially late in that fourth quarter, he had 9 in the fourth. Just the factor of him offensively and defense, the difference he makes, what is that?
Oh, he's a big factor on the court. You can feel it. Immediately when he steps on the court, offensively, defensively, he's a handle on both sides of the floor. So we definitely needed that. And as soon as he steps on the floor, it makes it so much better.
As we've typically seen really fast starts from Norman Powell. And you only had a slow start, unlike him. Were you guys encouraging him to have a kind of a fourth quarter like that, or did he just kind of feel that?
Man, he's been special all year, so we knew it was a matter of time before, he gets going. And he did, the most important time in the game was the fourth quarter.
It wasn't always pretty, and you'd love to win these games when you score 130, 140, the offense is clicking, but how did you kind of find a way in that fourth quarter as a team to finish this game off?
Just getting back to our offense. I think we kind of got away from it in the first 3 quarters. Everyone was trying to, do their thing. We weren't playing as a team, and fourth quarter we finally hunkered down and bought into our style of basketball.
I think it's maybe 2-3 straight games that teams are attacking with the zone and maybe trying to find a way to slow down that pace. What do you how you counter that? What are you trying to do and need to do to get back to that level?
I think we just got to swing the ball. I think for me personally, I got to get back to playing off 2 feet. Just being under control, letting the game come to me. I think part of that was my fault, just trying to attack too early instead of moving the defense. So just watch some film, continue to learn, and get better at the next game.
What was it like to have Bam on the court, and how much energy did he bring?
It was great. It's great. We love to have Bam back. Great presence for us. Always being able to just settle us down when we need him, get stops, get rebounds. I'm really happy to have him back.
Speaking of that, watching the Bam back, I think he had 9 in the fourth. Norm had 17 in the fourth. When guys take over games like that, what's it like to see a kind of a player just stamp that and say, okay, I'm taking this game over. We're going to find a way to win this game?
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's good to sit back and watch greatness. It's fun. And our job is to get back, get stops. When a guy gets it going like that, you give him the ball and get out the way.
I know you guys are heading to the road, but 7-1 at home. What's that mean to you to get this kind of start? Something I know you guys want to do this season after the kind of struggles last year at home.
Yeah, I just want to continue this. We want it to be a hard place to play in. We want to defend this home court and, just continue that streak.
Norm, obviously, Rocky started not just for you, but the whole team, but then it got going really in that fourth quarter. Can you just kind of talk about maybe what the Warriors did, the undermanned Warriors, into kind of getting you guys off kilter and then at the end kind of getting back going?
I think it was kind of us, honestly, not sticking to our principles, not working the game. I think we all kind of got into like us trying to do it ourselves, I think that's what kind of slowed us down. There wasn't like one particular thing that they were doing, taking us out of our stuff, and like we were scrambling around. I think the ball got a little sticky, and we weren't letting the offense work for us to find the open shot. We were trying to create it ourselves, and then I think in that second half and in that second unit, especially Drew, I thought he did a great job coming in and making the sacrificial plays, offensively, defensively, being in the right spots, kind of like creating that energy for us to get going. And then we started working the game, swinging the ball, attacking closeouts, and you saw like a more energized group to close out the game.
Norm, I know the Warriors didn't have some of their shot creators, but in terms of getting Bam back, what kind of a stabilizing effect did he have on your defense tonight?
Really big effect, not just his activity and what he does and what he brings, but just a steady vocal leader on the defensive end, talking the cuts, the guys in positions, making sure that the coverages are right. That's really big. We know that he's going to bring the energy. We know he's going to bring the effort on both sides of the ball. But his voice, being on the court, he was vocal on the sidelines, waiting for his return, which was also great, but having him on the floor, and kind of controlling the defense is huge for us, so we definitely miss him and glad to have him back.
Norm, it's been a couple of games in a row where the pace has slowed down a little bit here. Are you noticing anything from opponents defensively change from the beginning of the season to now?
I think they're going zone a lot. We had the Knicks, a few other teams too, but the Knicks never played zone, and I don't know how long. We had them, playing zone throughout the course of the game, trying to slow down our pace. So kind of combating our up-tempo play style, and we just got to do a better job of it. Doesn't matter if they're trying to play zone, get the ball out quick. The way you beat a zone is getting down the floor before they can set it up. So it shouldn't change our play, but I think when they do go zone, we're kind of hesitant on getting to our spots or moving the ball and still playing in that open concept, that flow concept, just because they're in the gaps and not really guarding. So, we got to take an extra second or two to figure out the spacing and where the cuts are going to come to open up our driving angles.
You've had a lot of encouragement for Khalil Ware during this season. What did you make of him going back to the bench role today? 16 rebounds in 19 minutes, just what he brought for you guys.
Yeah, big time. It's not tough. It's tough for a young guy to do that. He's playing well as a starter. In his opportunity with Bam being out, and I also thought that he probably would have played a lot more too. It's just the play style and the size. With Golden State, they went a lot of small ball. But I thought he was great mentally, still being locked in, making those second and third efforts and not letting anything affect him, whether he was starting or coming off the bench, whether his shots were going in or not. He was really active, keeping plays alive, making it difficult for them when they're attacking the rim, and then securing the possession on the rebounds to get us out and going. So big from him to take that next step in maturity and just playing his game in whatever role is given to him.
Big part of your fourth quarter scoring run seemed to be secondary action, catch and go type thing. I guess what are you seeing there? And was it kind of what defense was presenting? I guess just how important, is that for your overall shot profile?
I think it's important for everybody. Tonight in the fourth quarter, I was a recipient of that, being able to attack, playing off closeouts on that second side. I thought if we would have got to that a lot more, we could have made the game a little bit easier for us, not just me, but just moving the ball, making the swing passes and giving yourself up for somebody else to be able to attack and make a play. I think that's what really opened it up, and that plays to my ability as well, being able to finish plays on the second side with guys flying out, especially with me shooting the three ball. They're trying to take that away. Now I give them a shot fake and I can get into the paint, and now it's on me to make the decision whether it's a shot, drop off, or kick out. But the more and more we can get to that, we have multiple guys that can put pressure on the paint and then collapse defenses for us to continue to play in that flow style offense. But I was a recipient late in the game in that fourth quarter to be able to get down there and put pressure on the rim.
You've been one of the most consistent top scorers since the season started. What's the mentality that you're keeping so far and, from the rest of the season?
I think my mentality has always been the same, to go out there and be aggressive, take what the defense gives me, play my game. My teammates trust me. Coaches trust me that I'm going to get in there and make the right plays, make the right reads. But I really simplify the game, take what the defense gives, work on my spots, get to where I'm comfortable, and make the plays that are in front of me. But my mentality never changes no matter who we're playing against. I'm always trying to go out there, be aggressive, be efficient, and win basketball games.
Bam, coming back, obviously, after missing the last 6 games, how does the toe feel? How do you feel like coming after, and especially kind of getting better as the game went on?
I felt good, man. Just trying to find a rhythm, not overdo it. Let the game come to me, and it did at some point. And, that's the biggest thing about the game. The way we play, the ball's always going to find you if you have good intentions and you're making the right reads.
Obviously, Khalil had been starting, and now he goes to the bench, still had a really good performance. What can you just say what you've seen from him, especially tonight and just the whole season as a whole?
Man, he's figuring it out, man. I've always told him, it doesn't have to be 15 and 15 for you to impact winning. Sometimes it might be, 7 points? But it's 16 rebounds. I don't know how many altered shots. So when I put it to him like that, I feel like he understood it better, and it took a lot of pressure off of him.
You guys haven't been running a ton of pick and rolls this season, but it seemed like late in the game you and Norm kind of got to that two-man game a little bit to close it out. Just, I guess, how natural has that felt, and how did you kind of see that later in the game?
I mean, Norm finally got it going. He was trying to find it in the first 3 quarters, and then just kind of clicked for him. And you know, as a team, and you know, we got one of the best coaches in the league. He was like, just go 2-man game and just figure it out from there. And obviously, we kept going till it kept working. So, hey, if it ain't broke, don't break it.
How would you explain how difficult it is when a team is missing a lot of regulars, and then it's a bunch of lineups that you've never seen, and they're just doing not unexpected, but different sort of stuff? Why is that always so hard to deal with?
It's something us as a team we got to get better at, but you know, it's different lineups. You expect certain people to play, so you plan a certain way, and then things flip, and we have to adapt to that. And you know, obviously, we waited down to like the 6 minutes of the game to really figure it out. But I'm glad we got the win. You know, that's the biggest thing for us.
Not many 2-week injuries that take you out that long. How hard was it, and how much did you miss getting?
Bro, listen. I love Wes Brown, our head trainer, to death, but I hate being injured with him. Because we'll do 4 sets of 80 reps. It's one of those things where I would much rather play injured than do rehab with him. Love you, Wes. But, you know, it's difficult sitting over there watching your team battle and compete, and you want to be out there. And you feel like you can impact winning. So it's difficult from that standpoint, but, you know, I always, when I'm out, I try to figure out how I can play that UD role sometimes where I can affect the game without even be out there.
What changed in the fourth quarter that allowed you guys to break?
I think when once Drew threw the ball to me, I think the energy changed, and he was a terror after that. I mean, he seemed like he was all over the place in our zone. He was the top of the zone, bottom of the zone, wing of the zone. He was making some things happen. That changed, like, you know, kind of the energy of that moment, and then everybody else, you know, just fed off of that. And then Norm at the end, you know, I thought he was just really good in the second half. It was frustrating, you know, obviously in the first half he only had 3 points, but then he responded with his voice. He was verbal in every huddle. He was engaged. He was just figuring out, hey, I've got to find a different way to make an impact. And it started with his voice, started with making, you know, defensive efforts. And then, you know, down the stretch, he just was really good. You know, when we put the ball in his hands and ran a pick and roll, you know, basically with him and Bam, and he was able to create some separation there just out of his skill level. But I think, you know, Kalel was really good tonight, and I mentioned that to the team, that it's not easy, you know, to be starting, you know, playing really well, and really making an impact as a starter, then to come off the bench and still have a big impact in 19 minutes, to have 16 rebounds, you know, is exceptional. But it was more about his mindset. And they were playing so small, you know, because of all the lineups and everything, that I was thinking about going, you know, bigger, but that could have given them an advantage. But I thought, you know, that's something that we can definitely, you know, build on, the fact that, you know, he still had an impact.
Obviously, Bam's return game, it seemed like he got going as the game went on. What did you kind of see from him?
Boy, I mean, he just does so many things for a basketball team. I didn't look at the stats. I don't have my glasses. I can't see that, but you know, defensively, while he was on the floor, I bet the numbers were pretty dang good. That's not a coincidence. And, you know, offensively, I think this really fits his strengths, because he's really good at a lot of different things. And if you just limit it, you know, to 1 or 2 things, that's not really fully maximizing his skill set. But it was great to have him back for sure.
He played 29. Is that about what you envisioned for tonight? Like, I know
Don't ask the
Don't ask Wes.
performance staff. Did he play that much?
20,
Thought I controlled those.
28, 48.
Yeah, I never played him like extended minutes in a row. He was able to handle it. He, the work that he did behind the scenes prepared him, for this. I wanted to make sure that first number was a 2. Okay.
You had 71 seconds to play with, so you got there. You talked about it. They were obviously very unique lineups for them, and it would be, in theory, harder with Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, Al, all those guys playing. But what is the challenge when it's groupings that not only Steve hasn't seen, but you haven't seen either from them? What is the challenge?
I think it's human nature. We jumped out to an early lead, and then it probably just creeps in like that. It's going to be an easy game. Be looking for a knockout punch early. That's not the right approach you want to wear on them. In the second half, I thought our efforts were much better, and that doesn't guarantee that it's going to, be a 20-point lead. But at the end, eventually, I think we wore on them. It's really one of the first times this season I think we had poor shot selection, in the first half. I love the way we were playing fast, and then it kind of fed into some 1-on-4s, some early jacks, we didn't have our normal paint attacks, and those usually come from more intention, and then the ball moves. That was much better in the second half, and even if we weren't making shots, it just looked a little bit more like us. But teams will go through that, and it was probably, frustrating. I hope the guys view that as frustrating, scoring 48 points and not passing the ball and not playing our game, and then getting a win out of it so that we can learn that lesson. We'll need it on this road trip. We're playing 2 good teams on the road.
I'm sure the percentages probably weren't there tonight, but coming into tonight, you had seemed to feel pretty good about the process against the zone for the most part, and
Yeah.
toggling in and out of it. But was the process still there? But it sounds like you felt like
Of our zone or their zone?
when they were in zone. You're
Yeah, I think we feel a lot more comfortable with it, and it will continue to get more comfortable. I was more frustrated with some of the decisions in semi-transition, or in the half court against their man, where we weren't really getting to the things that have been successful for us. But we're going to see a lot of it, and that's good. We want to see as much of it as we can, and I think our numbers are solid against zone, and it is a compliment. But we want to get to a point where whatever you do, that it's the wrong decision.
A big part of Norm's 17-point fourth quarter seemed to be this catch and goes, just kind of off the ball catch and go drives. Just how important, I guess, is that in his game right now?
Correct. No, not just for his game. Yeah, it took us forever to get to that. We were playing fast at the beginning, and then we were doing a lot of, poor shot selection, some early shots that weren't really getting to our game. We want to get multiple guys in that kind of situation, but it takes, intention. I don't think you can guard Norm. He's on the when he's on the move like that, but it takes intention from the other 4 guys. And also, he's our leading scorer, so we have to have an understanding that if we're not getting to the game, we're scoring low in the first half, and he has 3 points, there has to be an intuitive feel where we get him in more of those situations without having to make a specific play call like we did in the last 3 minutes.